Hi there guys, Conrad Hughes here with footagecrate.com for great free effects that you can download and do with them whatever you like. Okay, so last time we did a primary color correction tutorial on DaVinci Resolve Lite 11, and this time we're going to be continuing it with some secondary color correction. Now, the last one did run a little bit long, so okay, what we're going to do this time, we already have our balance and our curves. After this, what I'm going to do is bring out some of that orange in the sky. We could just call the shot done, graded, but just for the sake of the tutorial, I'm going to do some sky here. So using there's three types of qualifier in Resolve. There's HSL, RGB, and luminance. So I'm going to use the hue, sat, lum controls here. So it's hue, saturation, and luminance. And I'm going to click and drag a selection of sky. Pressing Shift and H will show me what I've selected. And that's fine. It's not changing at all as it goes. I'm going to denoise that slightly just to, there we go. Increase that area. And maybe increase the in ratio there, just slightly. And now I can take the sky and I can do with it whatever I like. So you can have like a rave sky here. Reset that. So I can make this appear more like morning by pushing in. So the shadow, I'm in log. That'll teach me to do things. So, using my gain control here, once more, some rave sky, and if I change this lift, it should also just affect it slightly too. And in the gamma, we can be a lot more subtle, kind of change the temperature. Another thing we can do is adjust the saturation, meaning that when we push color into it, it's much stronger. We can also reduce the saturation, meaning that our effect is going to be subtler. So I'll just reset that for now, 50. We can also change the hue just on its own. And okay, reset that to 50 and that to 50. So if we look in our scopes here, we can see that red is slightly above blue and green, which makes it a slight orange, but some of that's been lost. Where it's been blown out with the camera. It's a really high dynamic range shot, and we're going to need a great camera to capture all the information there without crushing the blacks and without clipping the top. So I'm just going to put in what I think was the actual color of the sky. It's going to be quite subtle, but there you see we've got this orange. And now what I'm going to do is create myself a little power window in order to bring that out a little bit more and also affect the rest of the shot. So, there we go. Create this kind of bell jar looking thing. And again, using Shift and H, we can check our highlights. Obviously, it's just the window. So what I'm going to do is soften this up by quite a lot. And we're going to really just be creating a glow, dusk glow. Sounds like a rubbish perfume. So, okay. I'm just going to take some of that orange, push it in. Obviously, that's too much. But you can see we've got this glow here. Now what I can do is desaturate this, hopefully. No. So, alright, I don't want to take too much of that glow effect, but I do like the way that it looks across the shot. So if I go for something like this, let's turn it off, turn it on. You can see that we've warmed up the area around the bricks. And with this, I can maybe reset that and desaturate it a little, so that when we push more yellow into this shot, it's going to give us the effect that we're after. So here's the after. Let's turn that off, turn it back on again. Again, it's not particularly subtle, but for the purpose of this tutorial, you now see how you can kind of relight what you've lost with your camera and bring it back in a little bit. If we wanted to, we could add an outside node and just push a little blue into there to get a bit of contrast. This is a bit much, so we can just an ever so slight amount I'll put in. Cool, now I'm pretty happy with that. So that's the before and after. This again, just still a little bit too much for me. There we go. Nice and warm, but not overdone. Right, in this shot, what I'm going to do is kind of show, a secondary. Auto-saving. So, secondary here. And I like this area that we have in the face here. Let's get that just as a nice still. There we go. So I can see if it's possible for me to get some of that face in. If we look at our highlights, it does look a little strange. And let's try RGB. Again, we're going to be getting pretty much all of the shot. So we don't really have too much contrast in terms of his face here. Could try something like this, but again, if we make any changes here, it's going to make changes to the rest of the scene as well. So what I'm going to do is just reset this qualifier, and I'm going to again make a power window, this time just a circle, and I'm going to extend that over the majority of the shot, which is going to include his face, and I'm going to soften that out a little bit more too. And if we wanted to, we could track this, but I feel like it's going to shift the balance of the shot if we have this moving. Zoom out with Control Apple minus. You can also use the middle mouse button too. And okay, just to take a look, we've got this. And let's see what happens if we, okay. So we can bring something like this in. Obviously that's way too far. But what I'd like to do is just bring a little bit more contrast into here. And saturate this a little. So Alt and F there. Push a little bit of orange into this area here. And then, there we go. So we're just really bringing some more attention to that. And again, I can create an outside node, which is just going to be this area here. And I'm actually going to move that power window over slightly, just to show you the effect more. And I'm going to blur this ever so slightly, just to show you at full. That's what it could look like, which is awful. But if you just have it to about here, let's turn that off, turn it on. And we could maybe just sharpen this. It's pretty, just very slightly. And now I also want to push in a little bit of, there we go. So we darken that up. And no, I'm just going to leave that as it is, just a little bit darker. You can see with the curves, I'm not dragging it all the way one way or another, but just enough to make a subtle difference. So just lots of very small changes before, after. So we've kept some of that blue here, and we've put a bit more natural tone here. Just before that secondary correction, the blue kind of tint in the grout between the stones is odd to me, off-putting. So using my HSL qualifier, let's see what we can do. See if we can select just that. I'm going to try the RGB. Okay, interesting. If I work on my... No, it's not going to work. Try denoising that and reducing the in out. Yeah, it's not really going to work. So what I can do instead is reset that. Drawing these keys, it can be quite difficult to get the exact color you want. I don't think we're going to be able to in this case. So what I can do is, just using this here, I can click here and see what I've got happening. And maybe I can just bring down the blue, specifically in this one area. And let's see what happens if we drag it all the way, see if we've got the right area. Almost, but not quite. But for now, given that you can see what I'm trying to do here, let's move on. I'm just going to get rid of that for now. Okay, so next shot here, just to show you some of the things we can do nice and quickly. I'm going to qualify this whole thing. Let's have a look. Using the HSL again, normally produces the best results. Take this up to here. Just include some of this. If you click and drag, you're going to be able to get the most success, really, as that allows you to take a few different colors. I'm going to increase my black clip to clip that, and then no, that's not going to work. Okay, so one area, increase my color range here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. And I can denoise that so we don't get any flicker. Let's turn that off. And we can maybe just saturate this sky a little. And I feel like we've got this kind of mustard happening here. So I'm just going to take that across. See what we have. And again, make an outside node. And if I wanted to, without losing too much of that detail like we might do with a curve, I can bring down the gamma, bring down the lift, bring down the gain, actually up the lift a little. So now we've got more of a silhouette. We've still got some detail here, but we're now really drawing attention to the sky. And actually, as we're drawing attention to the sky, I feel like we don't really need to saturate it that much. We can let it speak for itself. And that's nice. We get this effects here, the clouds coming across the hills, and we can see a lot of what's going on, and we still have the detail in the shot. Lastly with this, secondary grading, we do have a bit of contrast between the wall and the dude. But I think I'm going to try and draw out some of that wall, and just really for the sake of aesthetics, see what we can do. So I've got this wall. Do I need this bit too? Yes, I do. So increase the color range. This, and that. And we can, again, denoise that. And what I really want to do is push a bit of something a bit more interesting and less drab than this plain wall. what we should really do is something like that, just to show the contrast between his face and the wall. So before and after, I'm happy with that. We don't really want a white wall. Off-white is okay. We don't want to do anything too unnatural. So again, no big changes, just before and after. We've got this much cleaner shot now, and we have, again, a little bit more contrast between the face and the wall. So I'm just going to run through these shots in order and play them. With our primary color correction, what we've done is we've balanced the shot and brought out the detail that should have been in the shot to begin with, but for whatever reason wasn't. Whether you've shot in log or, any number of reasons, the shot could be different from what you want to show. And we've done, with primary color correction, fixing, if you like. And then secondary color correction, we've taken individual colors and changed them if there's something that we wanted to enhance in the shot that should really be there. We've added in a bit of selective defocus, and in this case here, we've changed the background to suit what we would like to do without us having to go over the top with saturation in the sky, so we can keep a natural looking shot. And again here, we've just increased a bit of contrast. And that's all for today. Auto-saving once more. Always save your work. If you've enjoyed the video, please like it, and stay tuned for more from me and FootageCrate.com. Thanks, guys.